resource and put that stuff into practice. Same thing when I stepped and bought myself a piano to try to learn. Now, I never really went anywhere with that, but I saved up for a long time to get a piano. I was hustling. But the point of this show is for people like me who just don't feel like sitting through the curriculum when on my own I could learn it much faster. I could actually spend my, I could spend some money, buy the tools I want to do and practice whatever I want to do. If I want to learn how to program, I could do it. It's cheap, easy. There are many books for free that will teach you this stuff. And there's a lot of students right now who have to just sit through and wait through 12 years of mostly information they're going to get, and mostly information they have no practical application for. When there's the option of education where you can just turn around and start reading books, get a job, start working jobs, start small businesses to raise money. I started tons of small businesses to make money, from fixing computers, lawn service, selling floors, music recording studio, which is easier than you may think it is, booking shows for money. There's thousands of options for what you could do. And if you go to my website, selfeducation.blogspot.com, you will actually see articles that I've written, such as the Dropout Survival Guide. And I also have some articles that I'm going to be posting up recently that just went up on Squidoo, titled, I Just Dropped Out, Now What? And tons of business ideas for dropouts. There's tons of things you could do to start making money. The sky's the limit with the number of businesses you can start. You see, when you go the college route and when you go the traditional education route, you were taught how to fit with someone else's operation, how to apply, get a job, and simply fit in. You are not taught how to see how to watch your community, look around you, see things that need to be fixed, and just fix them, no matter what it takes. If that means you having to go to school and learning what you need to fix that, then that's what you do. But 90% of the time, that's not really the case. You don't have to go that route. You could hire people to do a lot of things, and you could focus on building organizations, starting businesses and processes. Ownership of processes, businesses, or land is the only way to secure your financial future, not having the permission to go work for someone else or to go ask for a job. And that is why here at the Self-Education Radio, we try to bring you the best resources and the best tools to help you on your journey to self-education, self-discovery, self-discipline, self-confidence, and the ability to take your matters into your own hands. There are many problems around you that need to be fixed. Just open your eyes. Every time you hear someone complaining, every time you yourself do some complaining, that means there's a problem that needs to be solved. And solving problems makes money. Schools doesn't teach you that, and that's why our society never progresses, because we have thousands of people who go through a system that tells them, look, just do what you like doing for a paycheck. When you start to follow a lot of self-education resources, when you start to learn through alternative mediums, the first thing you start picking up and realizing is there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of problems. When you start watching alternative media instead of the news, you realize that there's a lot of opportunity for you to get in and start helping people and solving real problems and making some real money doing it. Going to get a job for a corporation is why you have so many people in the military willing to do whatever they're commanded to do simply because they're getting a paycheck. They have been compartmentalized into just one way of thinking, and they're not trained and equipped or educated enough to usually do some outside digging in and doing some research into what they're actually participating in. There's a lot of these corporations. For those of you who support the school system, who support the way it's set up, not the self-directed schools that you can attend seminars, books, lectures, free videos online programs, workshops. They're self-education. Short courses that teach you just one skill that you need to learn. Not a long, drawn-out program that's wasting your time teaching you a bunch of stuff and adding filler. That everybody follows the same curriculum. Everybody has to. It's kind of like, for any of you who play World of Warcraft, it's kind of like the talent tree. Everybody who goes to school is almost going to have the same talent tree because it's all out of the same pool of resources. Everybody who doesn't go to school, it's kind of like a comparison between Rift and World of Warcraft with the new update. World of Warcraft with the new update that took away all the talents. So now everybody almost has the same talent tree. But if you go and start playing Rift, the first thing you notice is there's mad talent. It's all kinds of different talents. So everybody you're fighting is pretty much different. Almost no one is going to be the same because there's so many different options. And that builds resiliency within the community. That means you're never going to have thousands of people who just fall for the same thing and who just can't be shown another perspective. Because it's, same thing as in one of the previous episodes when I compared it to permaculture. When you have different plants around, the attributes balance each other out to where some plants protect the other ones, feed the other ones, and some just are there to produce the food and are just being protected by the other plants around them. You plant herbs and special types of plants and trees that offer special benefits to your whole farm or your garden, as opposed to just diverting and investing all your energy into just one avenue. So, here again, the purpose of this show is not to tell anyone to drop out of school. We're not telling anybody to not go to school. If you are in school and you are enjoying yourself and you feel that you are reaching your goals in the best way possible, then great. Keep at it. Do what you do. Best of luck to you, and I really mean that. I hope you're successful in all your endeavors. Who I'm talking to is that kid who doesn't fit in. That kid who doesn't understand the school system, who doesn't agree with the school system, who has philosophical issues with the school system, who feels that they are better spending their time doing what humans do, being out in the field learning stuff, by watching people do stuff, and by practicing doing stuff yourself. If society would not treat dropouts as if they were common criminals or total failures, maybe the statistics would look a little better and you would have less people who drop out of school financially struggling. But when you have a whole infrastructure and a common stigma that your path is doomed before you even start, when you type dropout on the internet, on Google, all that you see is results telling you not to drop out, telling you how dropping out is the worst thing you could possibly do, telling you that dropping out, you're never going to make any money, you're never going to amount to shit, you're never going to have anything, you're going to probably end up in jail, you're going to probably end up getting arrested. This is already feeding into the subconscious minds of young people who have already dropped out or who know they're going to drop out, who plan on dropping out. See, a lot of people think that people just make choices, like we all are able to just choose what we choose. It's just like when you debate something that is overly religious and they tell you that, but see, you're just choosing not to believe. The thing is, no one chooses not to believe anything. And no one chooses to believe something. We kind of have no choice in the matter. I'm going to believe what is credible. Whatever it is in my mind, whatever the chemical circuitry in my mind that triggers my program for believing something or not believing it, according to my definition and my requirements for believing in something, that is all I have to go by. And I can't really just go dig into my brain and say, oh, okay, I'm going to believe you now. If you come in my face and you tell me, yo, dude, look, I'm levitating, and I look, you're standing on the ground on your tippy toes, and I'm like, no, you're not levitating, you are on your tippy toes. Oh, but you're just choosing not to believe me. How is that how can I choose not to believe you or to believe you? I'm going by my experience, what I see, and what makes sense to me. So you can't really tell someone, yo, you're just choosing to be this way or that way. And there's a great video done by Sam Harris about how we have no free will. There is no free will. And if you think about it, almost everything in your life, you don't really choose. Because you don't really choose what you remember, what you don't remember, what pops up in your head. That's stuff that just happens to you. You could be sitting there and get attacked by a daydream. And that daydream is going to affect the decisions you make for the rest of the day. So now, did you have full control in the choices you made for the rest of the day, knowing that the daydream you had that triggered those choices that you made was something you asked for? That's something like 5,000 words per hour or per minute. I'm not sure the exact statistic. Are constantly being spoken in our subconscious minds to us. So that means you are constantly being talked to by some voice which you do not control. Can we say that you are the one making the choice? If somebody is forced to sit in front of a screen that is brainwashing them towards one way, that's constantly telling them, yo, you're not going to be this, you're not going to amount to anything, that's constantly feeding them negative messages, which research does show that most people's self-talk is negative messages and limiting messages. How can you then turn around and blame the person or say that the person had full control and made the choice? And it's the same thing for dropouts. We need to empathize with people who drop out more instead of demonizing them. And we should just try to understand where they're coming from and try to put together programs and support groups and resources to help them achieve their goals, no matter which route they decide to go. And just because they decide to leave the schooling system should not be the end of academia for them. There should be alternative outlets, which is what we're working to become here at Self-Education Radio. We're working to become an alternative outlet for people who feel that the traditional school route is not working for them and that they can take matters into their own hands. This is your host, Prince J. Avery, with Self-Education Radio for August 26, 2013. Thanks for joining us. And catch us on the next broadcast. We broadcast daily at 3:30 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio at Self-Education Radio. You can find us at selfeducationradio.blogspot.com and on Twitter at SelfERadio. Thank you for joining us. This has been a pleasure. Talk to you tomorrow.